Hello and welcome to Elvinley Railways. There was quite a pronounced dip in the track here, which had developed over some time, and here you can see I'm just lifting the track and getting things level again. There's been a little bit of track work to do lately. There haven't been any derailments on this section, but there was quite a dip, and you could tell with the way stock was rolling. So the main thing is to make sure that everything's level between the rails. It doesn't matter really if there's little gradients up and down, but when you've got things a little bit unlevel side to side, it can cause a few issues. The reason I sorted this out though was because it was a pretty serious little dip. Looks like there's a bit of a hump there now, but it's just that there was another dip further down. Yeah, so here you see a point lever from CMD Engineering, the same people that produce the Scamp kits. I bought quite a few point levers from them. They're very good prices, and they're great levers, very hard wearing, and quite a lot of weight to them, which is good. Pretty cheap. So I laid down a bit of concrete for the lever to sit on, but unfortunately I laid a bit too much, and so it's quite high. I thought I'd try a new method this time, so I just used a little bit of nylon cord, which may well wear out quite quickly, but it is greased and we'll see how that lasts. This point is sprung for anything running round on the loop, but I thought it'd be nice to be able to operate this set of points so that things could go either way, so I don't need to run round every time. There is logic to it, but I'm not explaining it that well. So this was the first run over the point, and it didn't go too well. The blades just flipped back over for some reason, but I did a bit of work on them and helped to get them seated a bit better, the blades, but then the concrete was coming up. But in the end I got it all sorted. It works really nicely at the moment. You just have to keep making sure there's no debris between the blades, because it keeps raining all the time. It sort of washes into it, and you have to sort of get it out all the time. There's constant maintenance on outdoor railways in this part of the country in this part of the world really, where you get a lot of rain, and admittedly a lot of this is not like overly well ballasted, so there's quite a lot of like soil and that around, so a lot of that comes from like leaves that are constantly falling. I'm just sort of gearing up now for the massive leaf fall which is ahead of us now. So yeah, I was just checking the spring still works okay and everything, and it's fine. The point at the end is pretty sharp, so it's okay using it for a run round, but if I'm not going to run round, I'd rather go down the other road. There you go, I explained it a bit better that time, I think. You can see they're not going over properly because of all the debris, and that's after it's been cleared. That was the point the other end, by the way. The other end still doesn't have a lever, it doesn't really need one. This shows the spring operation again. I've improved this arch here, just made it a little bit more substantial. I'm kind of hoping it'll get ivy growing over it. There is ivy both sides, but it's not very substantial at the moment. Got various new signs that I've been putting up around the place. I will do a few more improvements on this as well, but it has withstood some really strong winds, so that's good news. Yeah, that was a new sign that I've put on the steam shed, Rostone and Hornsby one. I believe that's an original sign actually. I've just painted it up a bit. I'm running low on wood, so I need to get some more pallets. I've painted the table in the shelter. The plywood I'd used for that wasn't marine ply and it was kind of falling apart, so I've filled it and given it a good coat of paint. That's the little clock that I made out of a bit of pallet wood, and you can get these cheap clocks from Amazon which seem pretty good actually. I've got one in the Loco, one there, and one in the little coach that I modified the other day. A few little bits around. That's a little spout that I put on the plant to get some water into it, and it came the next day and it had got blown over by the wind, but it was alright, it survived. These have been the bane of my existence, and as you can see there's been a lot cut back. That's just one of the many piles that I've got. That's taken a lot of time lately to try and sort out brambles everywhere. I like the blackberries, but when it's just brambles without fruit, it's like, yeah, they can go. So here we are, wandering down the 5-inch gauge. Lots of brambles over here as well, but I tackled all this a few days after this. and got very scratched, and then got stung twice by a wasp, once on my ear, once on my back, which just added insult to injury. Also got some solder on my finger as well, so it wasn't going well. But yeah, you can see what a state this area was in. It's a little bit better now, as you'll see. I hadn't used anything on this railway for a couple of years, and it was all just stored away, doing very little. The wagons had been left out in the rain and they were just getting rusty and horrible. The wood was rotting, so I did put them in the shed at some point. I have to apologise about all this debris lying around. I've got to sort all this out. This is old guttering that was left over when I got my guttering replaced. I said to them, just leave it because I'll use it for something. You can see the IV minimal railway down at the bottom there. Just get a little glimpse of it. You can see the difference in height between the two railways. That's my little arch shed, which I couldn't get to at all until a few days ago. I finally got my way through the brambles and had a look inside, and yeah, quite a lot of the things that I'd done got smashed, and the weather had really got to everything. Brambles got to things, and everything needs a lot of work. So I'd done a bit of clearing at this point, and you could actually see the track a bit better. And we'd had a little bit of not flooding, but it was the water was rising around the back there when it was raining, when we had like really bad rain. So yeah, the track was like, the water level was up to the track, and so I thought, you know, the track was going to be in a right state when I came to look at it, but it wasn't too bad. These wheels weren't great. One of them was seized up. One of the wheel sets. This is the little riding car I've got for the Rostone, and I was just putting some grease because everything was all just seized up and hardly moving. I managed to free the wheel set, which was good, and gave it a little test just to see if I could get a bit of movement going, and yeah, it was all right after a few attempts. WD-40 and grease sorted it out. So there's the little Rostone. I tried it, and as expected, there was no life at all. There's a little view of the controls. Now you can see that I'd started to do a little bit of concreting at the back there, just so that I wanted to create a little path, you see, so that you could easily walk around there. And I did some work on the viaduct, removed some of the old bits of logs and that which were just rotting away, checked the wood and various things. There I'm giving him a charge and testing him, and he did very well actually. Worked. Was doing a little bit of work on Elizabeth as well. Needed a little bit of maintenance. A few bits and bobs. Got my trusty toothbrush out. I don't use that to clean my teeth as well as clean my engine, but it's quite useful for getting in the sort of awkward little places, as I'm badly sort of showing you here. There was a nut missing there from one of the straps around the boiler, so replaced that, doing various little jobs on the Loco. And you can see the size of that Rostone in 5-inch gauge compared to IV in 7 1/4 inch gauge. Also, you can see that on the back of that part of the cab there, I've put some panels because I was sick of getting my back scratched by brambles and things. So, yeah, that'll help. I am always cutting things back, but even so, they grow so quickly. It's crazy. So yeah, so here you see the coach being used as a wagon because I've got a job for the railway, which was to get some of that ballast from the bottom, carry it up to the train, and then take it to the other end of the line to put some of the ballast down onto my drive, which isn't in a very good state. There's lots of dips in it and various things, and yeah, it's very poor. It gets really muddy when it rains, so I thought I'd put a bit of that down, and this was the best way to take it. I did a couple of trips, and that was enough really for what I needed to do. I'll probably take a bit more down, but I'm running low with the ballast again. Did have a ton delivered, I don't know, a few weeks ago, but amazingly it's all getting used. Been visiting quite a few railways lately, so the next video I'll probably try and put a little bit of footage of all that. So you can see the dips there in the drive, and it's a bit of a mess. And that's after I've laid some of that ballast down. You can see the finished job there with the new point lever. You can see the engine going on the new direction, which since I put those points in it hadn't gone that way, but it seems to run okay that way. Before the loop was put in, that's the way the railway went originally. So you can see I've been doing a bit more work there, and a lot more on the viaduct as well. Some of the wood has rotted, and some ballast around the back there as well. But yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I've been nicking bits of moss and bits of slate to help with that job. Help pack things and level things. That is quite level there, but it looks pretty bad, but I'll be putting loads of ballast down there as well. Some more ballast there, helping to level things a bit, but again, I need a lot more. And here's one of the first runs that I did, first time in a couple of years. As I say, some of the wood on the viaduct has rotted, but it's not the actual stuff that is sort of crucial to the stability of the viaduct, if you see what I mean. After this run I did some levelling work as well with the spirit level, side to side levelling, and that improved things a lot as well. The idea I've got is to try and turn this into more of a minimal 5-inch gauge railway. Maybe remodel the Rostone and take it right down to its chassis and model it more like an old mine engine or something like that. So less of the sort of model railway look to it, and more of a sort of minimal look. That's the idea anyway. Because there's a lot of slate at the back of the railway, and I'd like to bring it round to the front and then take it down where I need it. Thanks for watching.